tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a viper, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a viper, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. What can I do? Gotta keep every heart safe, so we make it out alive.
James for justice.
I don't wanna waste no time. Oh yeah. Try to play nice so I won't give you heartache. Trust me, baby, when I say, girl, you better walk away. Oh yeah. If you try to come closer, I'ma give you some closure. Before you know it, it's over. So run away, run away. I'm not trying to hurt you, but I will if I have to. I'ma tell you what I do.
Something
run
scary.
Away, run away. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a viper, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a fighter, never backing down. Baby, I'm a soldier, standing my ground. So if you're gonna fight me for my heart, all you gonna get is battle scars. Baby, I'm a tiger, 20 steps ahead. Baby, I'm a viper, one bite to dead. So if you're gonna fight me,
I so. I played a cut with my homies, dressed in all black and we cozy. Can't say you love, you gotta show me. I ain't with my guys, then I'm dolly. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, or catch my jizz, bitch. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, or catch my jizz, bitch. I'm in a cut with my homies, I'm in a cut with my homies. Show no love to the police, show no love to the phonies. No love, no love. She wanna come to my homie, she wanna ride like a pony. Better pay up if you owe me, don't come around like you know me.
Man's them moving too shaky, acting sus for no reason. Still do the dash like Stacy with a city girl, it's that season. She wanna ride this all-wheel drive, you don't gotta put no key in. We on a rise like emoji eyes, you know that they be preying. Stashing the guap, setting up shop. I got a plan, is you ready or not? Puffing this plant, rising my stock, force on my hand, they moving wide. Don't gotta scam, don't gotta hop. I turn styles, screw it and chop. Shout out big bro, he call me Ock, keeping it safe, we got it on lock. This is a whole mood like O2. I told Missy to work it. She got that soul food, I'm so full, she get busy for certain. This is a whole mood like O2. I told Missy to work it. She got that soul full, I'm so full, she get busy for certain.
Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, or catch my jizz, bitch. Ain't no vibe like this, they don't rock like this, and you know we don't miss. Swish, they don't catch my drift, tell them I ain't they biz, or catch my jizz, bitch. I'm in a cut with my homies, I'm in a cut with my homies. Show no love to the police, show no love to the phonies. No love, no love. She wanna come to my homie, she wanna ride like a pony. Better pay up if you owe me, don't come around like you know me. We in the spot, thuggin' like Pop, kicking in doors, you know we don't knock. She wanna dance.
Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good morning. Good morning, J for J. How are you guys this morning? I'm still waking up myself, but I love to see my lovely
Roberta
in the morning. Thank you for joining today. We have some updates probably on some things that you guys have been reading about thus far too. Good morning. Hey, Tracy and Cheryl. We got the mods in the house on the scene.
Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
Moderators!
Mount up.
Shannon's Copper says, before this gets started, I would like to express my thanks to you and any YouTuber who is sharing truth. Thanks. Hey, Swan and Berry. Miss Alley Cat Claus, happy Friday to you too. Tracy, that makes me like cringe. Definitely not the best YouTuber around, but I appreciate you. It's windy, Lucia. It's beautiful here. It's actually a little cloudy, but it's clearing up. It was windy here yesterday. Miss Emily, welcome to the jungle.
Roberta.
Hey, Fruit Loops. Hey, Leo. If I missed anybody, good morning. Good grandma, what up? Good grandma. Good grandma, my conspiracy theorist. I love you all. Okay, so let's get rolling, shall we? Into our first story. This came out rather last night. And it's a big yikes. So a woman jumped off a cruise ship. Let's take a look.
Search for a passenger who jumped off of a cruise ship. The U.S. Coast Guard says they are searching right now for a 32-year-old woman about 150 miles off the coast of Louisiana. Some witnesses claim that they saw this woman being escorted by security in handcuffs when she went overboard. News Nation's Marky Martin joining us live tonight with more on this disturbing case. Marky.
Hey, good evening, Marnie. Yeah, just a terrifying ordeal for family, for everybody on board. We can tell you tonight the Carnival Valor is back in port. It docked in New Orleans earlier today. But that woman went overboard more than 24 hours ago, and tonight the Coast Guard still searches for her.
She was on the 10th floor, and they say she jumped off. She kissed her son and jumped off.
These pictures and video taken just moments after a 32-year-old woman jumped overboard from the Carnival cruise ship Valor show a life preserver and a smoke signal on the water.
It's a little bit jarring to kind of see and experience that whole event, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of like, all right, guys, back to normal.
Zach Glass was one of the passengers on board.
We did see sort of the initial reaction of the crowd sort of rushing over to the deck railing. People were saying, oh yeah, somebody went overboard, somebody went overboard.
The cruise was a 5-day trip to Mexico. Passengers returned to port today in New Orleans.
It was very scary. They came over and said, man overboard, and we were in the casino at the time. It was loud, so we were like, did he just say man overboard?
Some people aboard the cruise liner said the woman had been involved in an incident in one of the ship's hot tubs and that security had come and handcuffed her. News Nation has asked Carnival for details, but so far they have not responded. However, they did issue this statement. Carnival Valor is supporting the search for a guest who reportedly jumped overboard from her balcony on Wednesday afternoon while the ship was at sea. The ship's command immediately began search and rescue procedures, returned to the area near where the incident occurred, and notified the U.S. Coast Guard. Some passengers, like the Grants, back on land, wanting more answers.
Riding out no more.
Sick to the stomach.
I ain't getting no
and I'm
help.
still feeling sick after this, man, because they were crazy. I'm like, why the hell did the boat keep going? And they still left this woman out there.
Yeah. Now, Carnival has confirmed that the woman was on board with her husband, so their care team is really helping him and assisting him in this time. But still, Marnie, the big questions remain. Was she in custody? Was she in handcuffs when she went overboard? Again, Carnival has not gotten back to us with those answers, so certainly a lot more to come on this.
Wow.
Marnie.
Tragic story. All right, Marky, thank you.
Ashley, nobody said yikes, he hasn't come home, Ashley.
What the heck? Did you hear in the very beginning, they said that she kissed her son and then jumped over. Good morning, Brunch Mom. Nice to see you. Clarice Huff, welcome. Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie. Sydney, Australia. Welcome. Good morning. Yeah, this is a little scary. I myself have never been on a cruise. And I absolutely have always said I have no desire to go on a cruise. Absolutely one shot, Scott.
Do you like to twirl?
Yeah, so very crazy story. So let's see if we get any updates on this, because we know that Carnival was not getting back to the media right now at this point. So let's see if we get any more information, because that's all we got right now. But how sad that her son watched that. Horrible. Thank you, Angela Michelle. Right back at you. Your words bounce off me and go right back to you. All right. Our next story brings us to a trial that we followed over on Twitch. And that is the case of Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery was gunned down in a residential neighborhood in South Georgia by 3 madmen, now definitely proven racist to their very cores. And I want to preface this with a warning that you're about to hear things that may offend you and may anger you and may trigger you, because these guys are bigger pieces of shit than I originally ever thought.
More than 24 racist texts and social media posts revealed in the federal hate crimes trial against these 3 men right here convicted of killing Ahmaud Arbery. Now, prosecutors say the post established racist motivations in the chase and murder of Arbery. The defense is admitting that the posts were ignorant and sad, but not proof of racial aggression. 11 Alive's Hope Ford breaks down the evidence, and we want to warn you folks, some might find what you're about to hear disturbing.
Okay. Listen to this. They're trying to talk these texts away by saying they don't show racial aggression. I just wanted to repeat that. Wait. I wanted to repeat that and then say this.
You know, my detectives are the best, and we will come after you and track you down.
He's evil in the flesh.
Jury hearing for the first time from an FBI analyst as they decide whether or not the 3 men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery did so because he was black. Texts and posts presented by the analyst show an open contempt for black people.
Hey, Dad said, hello, gorgeous.
Travis McMichael allegedly responding to a video of a black man pulling a prank on a white man with, "I'd kill that." In a reply to a Facebook video showing black teenagers, McMichael reportedly wrote, "Shoot all of them."
Oh. This isn't aggression at all, is it?
Okay!
No, not aggressive at all.
Those monkeys. The FBI testifying
Wait,
Travis
let's
McMichael
listen
referred
to that
black...
again. Let's listen to that one more time for the people that are just joining.
In a reply to a Facebook video showing black teenagers, McMichael reportedly wrote, "Shoot all of them. Those monkeys." The FBI testifying Travis McMichael referred to black people as animals, monkeys, and subhuman savages. Defendant William Roddy Bryant reportedly sending a text to a friend about his daughter's relationship with a black man. She has her now.
Wow. Wow, this guy that wanted us to feel sorry for him.
Creep Town, dude.
Ooh, get rid of Yana, KY. Hurry, block them. Block any of those weird bots. Please. Yeah, and that's not even the worst of it. Here, I got him. All right. Yeah, so this Roddy Bryan was like, "Oh, I was just working on my porch. I happened to see them go by, so I followed. F these guys, man.
Savages. Defendant William Roddy Bryant reportedly sending a text to a friend about his daughter's relationship with a black man. She has her now. Bryant also reportedly calling an MLK Day parade the Monkey Parade. Arbery's father, Marcus, visibly upset after hearing the latest testimony.
Man, that's a sickness. That is a sickness in those that Travis McMichael. He was a very racial hateful man.
Travis McMichael's attorney arguing the post required additional context, while Brian's attorney specifically says his client was not obsessed with race and never wanted any harm for Arbery, only following the McMichaels to film what was happening. Arbery's family not buying defense's words.
This ain't something that just started with them being hateful. It go way back.
The trial continues on Thursday in Brunswick and is expected to last 7 to 10 days. I'm Hope Ford for 11 Alive News.
Pretty disgusting, huh? Jackie Blue, officially? Yeah, as if that doesn't make you sick, right? Yeah, it's worse than we could have imagined. I mean, and like Ahmaud's family said, it goes deep. I do too, Brunch Mom. But I also hurt for his daughter. I mean, can you imagine being his daughter and hearing that? Hearing your dad say that about you? Such dicks. Fly high, I hope you feel better. Migraines are the worst. Two hours ago, Fox News said Russia to launch ballistic missiles Saturday. They're saying that it's an annual exercise. 2 hours ago, President Biden warns Russia could attack Ukraine within days. It's on the cusp. 1 day ago, though, ABC News reported Russia invasion threat may be a bluff. So, don't know about that. We will watch that, but that is not on our docket today. No politics are on the docket today. Our next story, however, is a little bit disturbing as well, as is every case. Trigger warning. This is about a Tennessee mom who was accused of luring at least 9 teen boys on social media into having sex with her. What a winner. What a wiener chicken dinner. Not, right? What is wrong with people?
A sexual predator preying on children is something we hear about too often in the news. But what makes this next story unusual is that it was a mom using social media to solicit high school boys for sex. Authorities in Tennessee say Melissa Blair, a Tennessee mom, would arrange meetings with the boys and trade certain items for sexual encounters. McMinn County Sheriff Joe Guy says all the victims were students at the same high school. 7 victims are still under 18. 2 are now adults. Authorities say the encounters occurred between spring of 2020 and through late 2021, 9 in all. An anonymous letter was actually put in the director of school's office, which is then referred to the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, and from there, it went to the county sheriff's office.
On December 15th, detectives with the sheriff's office went to Ms. Blair's residence and spoke with her, which was quickly followed by the execution of a search warrant at the suspect's residence. The search warrant revealed additional evidence, and our investigation grew larger as more parents and victims contacted us.
38-year-old Blair was not employed by the school system, but she was involved with clubs and school activities. She even had one of her own kids enrolled in the district, who's now transferred. Blair has since been banned from school grounds. She stands indicted on 23 charges, including 18 counts of aggravated statutory rape and 4 counts of human trafficking by patronizing prostitution. She's currently free on $100,000 bail. Her arraignment scheduled for February the 28th. Joining us now is Bo Williams, anchor at Nexstar's Knoxville station, WATE. He has been following the case closely. Bo, thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate it. So now there are 9 alleged victims, but authorities believe that there could be more?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dan. And it was brought out yesterday, and you heard it from Sheriff Joe Guy, you heard it from the school superintendent, you heard it from the district attorney, all urging, saying that they felt that there could very well be more victims out there, and some of those victims may still be under the age of 18. Others, they say, could be adults now. But again, they are sending out that call right now that if you are a victim, to please contact their offices. But they feel very strongly that you're right, that there are more victims out there.
So it's sort of incredible to believe that it was going on for so long, considering how many.
It's kind of unbelievable that they let someone out of jail who has so many charges against them. Are you kidding me? She wasn't a teacher, though, Tina. She was a volunteer at the school. But the weird thing is, that picture, she looks super old. But in her other pictures, she looks young. That picture doesn't look like how she really looks, I don't think.
Victims or alleged victims you're talking about, no red flags before the letter was found?
No, not at all. You mentioned it. There was an anonymous letter. It was left in the superintendent's office. This was in early December. They got that letter. And matter of fact, the superintendent yesterday saying that had they not received that letter, this could still be going on. But one thing that was interesting that was pointed out, the superintendent noting that in this day and age of social media, he was somewhat shocked that we didn't have any red flags leading up to this, any type of alerts. And, when you look at the dates from the indictments that came out today, April 2020 to December 2021, well, obviously, this is right in the middle of the pandemic, and you have to kind of sit back and maybe ask yourself, in this day and age where maybe things weren't necessarily normal. I mean, how schools were being conducted, in class, not in class. Was she somehow able to fly under the radar with all of this?
Do you know where they were meeting, where she was having them come to?
No, none of that has been released, though we do know today in the indictment there was a 24th count, forfeiture of a vehicle, a Chevy Yukon or an AMC Yukon was confiscated. So that was brought out today. That was something that was brand new. But
okay, and they let her out because...
Otherwise, no other specifics have really been given at this time. As again, that investigation is continuing, and they're still asking for more victims to come forward.
Look, obviously, I feel terrible even for her kids, right? I mean, this has got to be, an awful thing to happen. What are people in the community there, parents, saying about all this?
Shocked. I mean, what you would imagine. For those that don't know exactly where McMinn County is, if you know Tennessee, it's in the eastern part of the state.
Of course it is, right? East Tennessee.
Kind of between Knoxville and Chattanooga, right along I-75. This area of McMinn County, somewhat rural, but a lot of people just couldn't believe what they were hearing. As a matter of fact, the sheriff yesterday saying it was a shocking event even to these seasoned detectives. A lot of people not wanting to go on camera in the community to talk about it, but again, they're just in some disbelief right now.
Bo Williams, hey, thanks a lot for coming on the show from Next.
I'd be pissed. I think that we tend, or not we per se, but society doesn't look at women doing this shit the same as we look at men. Yeah, it is crazy, Miranda. It's going to be interesting to see how this happened. I don't know if she's married, but she does have children. It doesn't say anything about... Kathleen Dion says, what's going on in Tennessee? This is crazy. Yeah, gross. Hey, Ash.
Don't break my door, you fucking bitch. Right?
They need to throw the book at that woman, and she shouldn't be out, in my opinion. She should be sitting in damn jail. Okay, turning the page. We're going to go to a murder-suicide in Miami. This is a sad story. And I want to make note right here. I wanted to show you guys. YouTube is updating their, I guess, what you would call trigger warnings on their videos. This is brand new. I've never gotten this warning. So I'm going to a video about a murder-suicide, and then check this out. Look what YouTube, I applaud them. Look at this. And then they have a banner with a chat box you can click on and a phone number you can call if you're feeling suicidal. I mean, this is a definite improvement for YouTube. So this makes me feel like, even though this is long overdue, that they're making steps in the right direction to battle like mental health and to do something proactive. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen anything proactive from YouTube as far as all of the bullying, harassment, and things that go on. So I thought that this was definitely a good thing. So then you click that. And
6 now, a family tragedy. A father.
And then they just start the video, but it does give you that warning. So, all right, we're going to listen to this story.
6 now, a family tragedy. A father shooting and killing his 2 young children before killing himself. And tonight we're learning much more about the father who committed this unthinkable act.
But first, new information about what happened at that lake in the city of Miami Lakes. Local 10 News reporter Christina Vasquez begins our live team coverage. Christina.
This is an absolutely heartbreaking case, and the details coming from neighbors, they're just chilling. What prompted them to race toward this lake, they say, is hearing the sounds of anguish. The mom of the children, they say, crying for help, the sound of her screams piercing the night air. The black and white photo of a beaming father and his children shrouds the darkness of the cruel and violent action police say he would take against them. The Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office identified the children as 12-year-old Valeria Tovar and her younger brother, 9-year-old Matias Tovar. The father, 41-year-old Humberto Tovar, who family refers to as Christian, shot and killed the children last night, police say, at the edge of this lake before killing himself.
We heard boom, boom, boom.
Magda Pena says she heard the gunshots, believing at first they were fireworks, but then later on, the piercing sound of a woman screaming. This Ring video captures the moment Magda and her son bolt out of their house toward the sound of anguish, finding the mother of the children.
Mom was here on top of the daughter trying to do compressions on her. And I was doing compressions on the little boy. He's alive, she's alive, he's alive, he's alive. Don't stop, don't stop. And then my son is like, no, Mom, like, stop doing it. He's dead, Mom. He's gone, Mom.
Oh, my God.
According to detectives, it started when the father picked up the kids earlier in the day yesterday, but never returned them home. Their mother growing worried before somehow tracking their location to this lake off Miami Lakes Drive.
That little wall that's over there next to the water, that's where they were.
Magda says her son spotted a gun by the father and the children's mother in shock.
The screams. I can't get the screams out of my head.
And back here live, that is the wall by the water's edge. You will see some memorial flowers there. On one of them, a little notation in Spanish that translates into "Life is better with you." That detail from that neighbor is just harrowing. Of a mom, she says in her words, being in shock, really a state of disbelief as she's feverishly trying to help her children, not quite processing that their lives have already been lost. Unknown tonight is what connection this family had to this particular area. Reporting live for you, I'm Christina Vasquez.
Horrible. What a coward. I'm sorry, but what a coward. You want to kill yourself? Take yourself. Why do you got to take your kids? And look at all these people that are affected now. This neighbor is traumatized. She'll never be the same. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Definitely thoughts and prayers go out to that mother. I can't even imagine how you would go on. All right. Our next story really disappoints me because I have always been a huge fan of this man and his reporting style. And I still am a fan of his reporting style. However, I'm very, very disappointed at all the news that's come out since he's been fired from CNN.
More drama behind the scenes.
And now it is even worse. And I'm talking about Chris Cuomo. Have you guys heard the latest? So he did a deposition.
More drama.
It was just released. And now this.
Behind the scenes at CNN, a nearly 6-month internal investigation at the news network has revealed that former host Chris Cuomo was accused of sexually assaulting a young woman when he worked at ABC News. Jim Murray with more on the shocking allegations.
It's another disturbing allegation against former CNN anchor Chris Cuomo. Did he sexually assault a young woman in his office when he worked at ABC? The claim comes in an explosive front-page article in today's New York Times. The Times reports that in 2011, Cuomo invited the woman into his office for lunch and career advice. The woman was described as a freelancer who worked at the network as a temp and was hoping to be hired full-time. When she arrived for lunch, there was no food, and Cuomo allegedly badgered her for sex. After she declined, he assaulted her, the woman's lawyer told the Times. A spokesperson for Cuomo today told Inside Edition, there's nothing Chris would like to say about the situation. CNN fired Cuomo 2 months ago. CNN President Jeff Zucker also lost his job after failing to disclose his consensual relationship with top CNN executive Allison Gollust. Yesterday, Gollust resigned after an investigation by CNN said it found violations of company policies, including CNN's news standards and practices. Gollust today is blasting the network, calling the investigation's findings an attempt to retaliate against me. It is deeply disappointing I would be treated this way as I leave.
Okay, so these two right here were like bigwigs at CNN. And they were in a relationship and kept it under wraps. So that's why he resigned, I believe. Or no, I think maybe he got fired or resigned before they could fire him. And then right when it happened, she was like, oh, I'm staying with CNN and I'm going to keep my position. She was all like high on her hog. And then they got rid of her. She resigned as well, but then they put her on blast.
Zucker's relationship with Gollust is throwing the spotlight on workplace romances. 33% of workers have had office romances. Human resources expert Johnny C. Taylor Jr. says office romances can be fraught with issues if you're not careful.
You want to keep your morale right and there to be a merit-based environment where people are deemed to have earned their promotions and their pay, and you want to ensure that no employee is being forced into a relationship just to keep their job.
One study found 64% of employees who've had office romances
kept it a secret.
Keep it a secret.
Imagine that. So, yeah, Chris Cuomo's in a lot of hot water and very, very disappointing. Even though I am not a CNN fan, I was a fan of his reporting style, which I can separate. It's just like artists, right? You listen to a band and they do some unsavory things, but you overlook it because you appreciate their talent, right? And I do think he's a good reporter. He's a snake behind the scenes, but he is a good reporter. I know, Cheryl. It just makes me disappointed. Hey, potato. Potato, potato. You say potato, I say potato. Let's call the whole thing off. All right, so here's another story. This is Bob Saget. His family wants the details of his death kept completely private, even though he passed away in Florida, and we have the Sunshine Statute laws, which releases pretty much everything in an investigation to the public. This is a weird...
Bob Saget's...
This is a weird story, honestly. I tried not to pay attention to it in the beginning because we didn't know a whole lot. But when this head injury thing came out, they're saying that he suffered a head injury comparable to being hit with a baseball bat in the head. What the hell could he have hurt his head on that had that kind of force? You tell me.
Bob Saget's family is blocking the release of new information on the beloved comedian's mysterious death. Today, a Florida judge granted them a temporary injunction preventing the release of photographs, video, and audio recordings related to Saget's cause of death. The family argued that the release of the information would cause them extreme mental pain, anguish, and emotional distress. The lawsuit was signed by Saget's widow, Kelly Rizzo, and two of his daughters by his first marriage, Laura and Aubrey.
Florida, like many states, has a powerful open records law. Law enforcement is supposed to provide to the public all the details about what they're up to.
Saget's former co-star, Candace Cameron Bure, spoke out about the family's ordeal on Fox and Friends today.
I keep in close contact with Kelly, and it's been difficult these past couple of weeks because of more things that have come out.
And okay, what is she? Yikes. Okay, I didn't hear about the marble. That would definitely cause some damage.
And there's a lot of questions.
Saget's death in room 962 of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Orlando last.
Okay, so who do you think they're going to rent out room 962 again? Are they going to rename the room to another number? I double dog dare someone to go stay in that room and do Spirit Box.
Ashley, nobody said yikes, he hasn't come home, Ashley.
Month has been ruled an accident. The family's lawsuit was filed amid lingering mystery over the circumstances of the comedian's death. The medical examiner says Saget's massive head injuries were caused by a single blow to the back of his head. But how that happened alone in his hotel room may never be determined. A top neurologist has compared the injuries to a baseball bat to the head. The lawsuit is likely to add fuel to the conspiracy theories already spreading on social media, many of them wildly speculative.
The Orange County, Florida sheriff says he plans to fight the lawsuit. He says while he's sensitive to the family's concerns, he's also committed to transparency and the public's right to know.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens, but let's take a look right now at what these rooms look like, because we're talking about marble, right? One single blow to the head. Let's see what the rooms look like. No harm, no foul, right? All right, so here is, let's make sure you guys can see this good. Hi, Summer Lou. I'm not even saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just curious. I just want to see what the room looks like that he was in. All right, let's take a look here. I don't see any marble in this room anyway. Let's move up to the suites here. I mean, I see a countertop that might be like that stone, but I don't see any marble per se. Is that all the pictures they have? Hang on. Okay, hang on. TripAdvisor will have some good photos. Oh, it's only $800 a night, too. That's it. That's the lowest price. It's only $800. Alrighty, let me make this bigger and we'll take a look at these suites. Okay. Okay, it looks like those countertops are marble. But do we know what room he was even in? Come on, show me the room. Is this one of the rooms here? Oh, yeah. Question is, if that happened, then what made him collapse? It was room 962. Do you want me to see if they have photos of it specifically? Can you do that? Room 9. Okay, look, it already pops up. Everybody's done this already. Daily Mail. Here we go. All right, let's get these photos. Okay, so Bob Saget's final Twitter and Instagram were sent late at night following his performance in Jacksonville, Florida on Saturday. He wrote that performing felt as fresh as when he was 26 and said he was finding my new voice and loving every moment of it. Cops now believe the comedian star may have died from a heart attack. Do we think he was doing coke or something? Hang on. Dang it. I have a confession, too. I've always hated this show. I never liked this show. All right. Saget was found in his room at the Ritz-Carlton on Sunday at 4 p.m. There were no obvious signs of foul play. He has a headboard, but there's definitely something else going on because, wait, hold on.
Okay, and what's going on there?
We have an unresponsive guest in a room. My officer is telling me that there's no pulse.
Okay. Non-responsive, not breathing?
Yeah. Not responsive, not breathing, and no pulse.
Okay, stay on the line for medical. One moment.
Thank you.
Weird.
Do you know what I see here? I see every single house wasting money.
Flowers are seen outside the San Francisco home used in exterior shots of Full House in honor of Bob Saget.
We planted flowers on the side of the house.
Okay, so he had COVID before he died.
It is not good. It does not feel good. I had it. And,
that's not good.
I don't know if I had Delta or I might have had a combo. Maybe at one point they were working together. I don't know. I'm going to entertain that audience to the best of my ability for what's there, for whatever's there. So if it's half full, I go, wow, that's disappointing. And then all of a sudden 200 more people show up because they decide at the last minute, what the hell, when are we going to see Bob? You know, he might die from COVID. Let's go see him.
Yikes.
You can't have an office when you're not.
Okay, so it says here that Mr. Saget used his room key to enter the room at 2:17 hours, this date. As previously stated, several attempts were made to open the door after checkout time by hotel security for their check of well-being. Mr. Harrison received no response after knocking several times and attempted to gain entry. Mr. Harrison entered the room and noted all the lights were off. He proceeded to the bedroom. Me too, Sativa. He proceeded to the bedroom and located Mr. Saget in his bed. He stated Mr. Saget was cold to the touch. He checked for breathing and a pulse, but none were detected. It was at this time he called 911. I checked the immediate area for signs of foul play. It should be noted none were found. The room itself was orderly with items owned by Mr. Saget on the nightstand, television stand, closet, and bathroom. Mr. Saget was found in a supine position on his bed. His left arm was across his chest, while his right arm was resting on the bed. No signs of trauma were seen. The report said a homicide team was notified as a matter of routine when officers broke the tragic news to his next of kin. Corporal Brian Meadows responded to the scene with the forensics unit. While on scene, hotel management spoke with Mr. Saget's wife, Kelly Rizzo, over the phone to inform her of his passing. This decision was made after consulting with their legal team. The scene was turned over to homicide while maintained scene security for the duration. The sheriff's office stressed in an accompanying release that Saget's death was not being treated as a homicide. All deaths, whether they are natural suicide, overdose, or homicide, are always looked at by the homicide unit. The report states that medications were present at the scene, but the items involved are not listed. An entry for Saget's medical history reads unknown, and he was due to check out the day he was found. Joseph Stefani, MD, the chief medical examiner for Orange and Osceola counties, warned it would take up to 3 months to determine the cause of death. An autopsy was performed this morning on Robert Lane Saget. Mr. Saget is a 65-year-old male who was found unresponsive in his hotel room. At this time, there is no evidence of drug use or foul play. The cause and manner of death are pending further studies and investigation. And they just got pictures of everybody. His ex-wife, his ex-coworkers.
Do you know what I see here? I see every single house waste.
Literally, they're just sitting there watching her. There's no audio. They're just watching to get her response. God, that's so intrusive. Does anyone remember Natasha Richardson? Very similar. I don't. But yeah, very strange. Very strange. I don't know. We'll see what happens with them wanting to keep that private and if it's going to come out or not. One more story I have for you this morning, and then I'm going to be back later because I have a case I want to solely focus on. I was going to put it in the updates, but I started digging into it more, and there was just too much. It's worthy of its own video because we're going to be following this closely, not only because it's in Florida, but because it's crazy as hell. So I'm going to show you this video, and then I'll be back later with an actual event and all of the stuff that I found. So let's watch this, and then we will talk about it for a minute and go from there. So here we go.
An 8x8 thing that was built in the garage, and we're getting more details tonight on what exactly investigators knew and what they were tipped off to. Take a look. This is from the incident report involving a call from a handyman. The complainant on the call, only identified as Jack, advised he was contacted by the owner of blank in the blank to build an office in the garage of the residence. Jack advised he agreed to do the job, but after receiving the instructions for the build, he began thinking it was very strange. Jack advised the room was built as an 8-foot by 8-foot space in the garage with its own ceiling and own door. Jack further advised the door had a deadbolt lock and the knob only on the outside, no knob inside. So if someone were inside the office, they would not be able to exit unless someone opened the door for them on the outside. What? Jack stated he was also instructed to build this space with electricity and install a window air conditioning unit as well as a camera in the ceiling, and stated the entire project was to be completed within 2 days.
Creep town, dude.
Some bizarre stuff. Some sick stuff. It wasn't an office. It was not an office. There was also a bucket left inside and a mattress.
Yeah, this is very, very, very disturbing. And wait until you guys hear all the details coming out. You are going to be outraged.
Mattress to sleep on. We know what the bucket was for. Still with us, Professor of Forensics at Jacksonville State University, Joseph Scott Morgan, private investigator Jason Jensen, and forensic psychiatrist Dr. Carol Lieberman. Joseph Scott Morgan, I want to begin with you with this 8x8. This is some sick stuff.
Okay, now this guy up here on the top right, Joseph Morgan, he has an awesome podcast. It's called like Bones or I can't remember. I'll look it up while we're watching this, but he has an amazing podcast where he goes over autopsies in detail. And he released one last night about Brian Laundrie's autopsy.
Yeah, it is. By my calculation, I think most prison cells are a wee bit larger than that. We always hear 9 by 9, 8 by 8. This is your child. This is the person you're charged with for their care. And this goes to the idea of deprivation, Ben, where you're depriving this poor child of, just the kind of community interaction that you have within a familial context. And it just absolutely cannot be healthy in this environment. And being locked, how are his needs being met? And I have to, the bigger question for me is, what would be the motivation behind this? What would be the trigger to get these individuals to do this to a child, and not just for a month? I mean, we're talking, they said, was it 2017, Ben?
That's what the original reporting is, that he was confined since 2017. The timeline is a little fuzzy when it comes to this actual room built, because apparently Jason Jensen, this handyman, made a call in December of 2021. Couple of interesting things there. This thing needs to be built in 2 days. It seems like it was an emergency kind of situation for this family.
Right, yeah, because what happened was this couple just recently moved from Arizona, so the environment that he was forced to live in was carried over from where he was living in Arizona, and they needed this quick build so that he could be confined again while they were in their new home in Florida. So this was something that they were not intending to quit doing. This is a lifestyle for this adopted child. And what concerns me is they're saying, oh, making excuses that maybe this child had attachment disorder. Well, no kidding. You're not having any bond with this kid because you're keeping him in isolation.
Dr. Carol Lieberman.
Yes, it's called Body Bags. And I did hear that he put out one about Brian. So check that out. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find Body Bags. Thank you, Diggs. Okay, yes. The parents they have a lawyer. They have hired a lawyer. These people have very nice homes, $1 million homes. What in the hell? Could you imagine being this freaking... Stop. Can you imagine being this handyman that is asked to build this weird room? There's more, guys. There's more. Because it's in Florida, all the dockets are available. I have the full affidavit, and we're going to go over that later. So let me ask you guys right now, would you rather go over that case this afternoon or this evening? Because I'm open for either. No, you never lock a child in a freaking garage in a room where he can't get out with a Home Depot bucket. 13 years old. A lot of you are saying afternoon. Draven, a.k.a. Black Widow.
Oh, man.
The doorknob was only on the outside. A camera in the ceiling they wanted. Just me says now. I mean, I want to go over this at length, so I'm not going to do it right now because I want it to be its own live because it's definitely got enough information worthy of that. So let's plan on 4 p.m. Eastern. If you guys have any case suggestions, you can send them to the team. I know moderators. Can you guys put up the PayPal? Someone asked if there was a PayPal link. Jerry, no lie, at first your soundboard was off-putting to me, but now it's one of my favorite things. Okay, so 4 p.m. Eastern. Yay, brunch bomb. We're going to go over this at length, but let's continue watching the rest of this video. And then, like I said, I have the full arrest affidavit. You guys, it is insane. I don't even know. These people are just evil. Evil in the flesh.
He's evil in the flesh.
I want to read for you part of the incident report where this teenager describes I guess a typical day. I asked the teenager to describe a typical day for him, and he stated in the morning he is woken up by blank because his door is locked. He advised blank would wake him up in the morning, tell him to go to the bathroom, and then back to his room. Blank stated, he stated, blank would lock the door and usually turn the lights off. He also advised he would be in his room until blank would return from dropping blank, another one of the children, off at school. Blank advised once blank was at home, she would feed him breakfast consisting of banana, on a piece of bread and peanut butter. He stated once he was finished eating, blank would come back in the room and he would get dressed and go to school. After school, he stated blank would pick him up and return home, and he would go back into his room. We've heard talk about reactive attachment disorder. Dr. Carol Learman, your thoughts about reactive attachment disorder and your thoughts about the life that this child has been subjected to.
Well, reactive attachment disorder is where a child does not have loving parents or loving caretakers to attach to in the first place. Now, we know that he was adopted, but we don't know at this point, or they're not telling, what his life was like with his parents or his mother, who he came from originally. I mean, that's really, he had problems before he came to live with this family.
Okay, well, obviously they knew that, so I don't know how these people came to adopt him or when they adopted him. But yeah, so one little tidbit that I'm going to be talking about and showing you guys is there was some evidence entered yesterday by their lawyer, and it is a Zillow link to one of their previous properties that was sold and has a creepy room. Yeah, Zillow.
And that needs to be investigated. But, kids get reactive attachment disorder because when they don't have a stable, loving set of parents or a parent to develop this loving bond with, or if they get changed around from home to home, then they get afraid of loving whatever parents are with. Like, let's say this adoptive couple, they're afraid.
Why are they blaming the kid? Why do I feel like this is going towards the kid and his behavior? Are we saying that there's ever an excuse to create a room and lock your child in it in the garage? What the hell?
He's afraid of forming a loving attachment with them because of what he has had before that. Now, that's not an excuse for the horrendous treatment that they're giving him. Clearly, if they adopted him and they started seeing some of these behaviors, and some of the behaviors that reactive attachment children have are they're very volatile, they can be violent, they're irritable, they're afraid, they're very fearful, they're afraid to be touched, lots of very difficult behaviors. But when they saw that at the beginning, they should have brought him for treatment. At this point, it seems like he should be in a psychiatric hospital for a long period of treatment before he can come out and be with any family where it's safe.
Do you think this child can ever get better? I mean, if we're talking about 5 years of living this way already with potentially a pre-existing disorder, and then going through this for 5 years with this adoptive couple, can he ever get better?
It's a lot of damage. As a psychiatrist, though, I like to believe that everybody can get better. It's just that it's going to take, that's why I was saying, an intensive time in a psychiatric hospital. But it is really hard. And when we see this, unfortunately, with some adoptive children, especially when from a foreign country, like from Russia, children that are adopted from Russia often have this problem. We don't know where he was adopted from, but yes, this is going to take a long time because he has to trust. It's all about trust, and it's all about letting in nurturance from some couple, some people around him, and that has been destroyed. Of course, it's really interesting because he's been going to school every day. Why didn't he tell anybody in school?
Oh my God, why are we putting this on this child? Why didn't he tell the school? Maybe because he's fucking scared, lady? Maybe because these two evil adults, he's 12, 13. I just can't even believe what I'm hearing. It is infuriating.
The investigation is continuing here. Dr. Carol Lieberman, great to see you tonight. Thank you so much for helping us out. These are difficult issues, and your expertise is appreciated. Joseph Scott Morgan, Jason Jensen, stay with us. When we come back, we're going to...
Craziness, but we're going to go over this in depth. We will go over this in depth. I have no idea what this lady's even talking about right now. Yeah, she's a psychiatrist. Yes. They didn't say if he was verbal or not. No. Well, I mean, obviously he told them what happened. You'll hear more about it. We're going to go over this in depth at 4 p.m. Eastern because there is so much more, NAFOC. You're right. They have a hired attorney here in Florida, and she has responded to all of these allegations on the parents' behalf. I'm glad you're enjoying the puppy cam. I don't like how that woman portrayed it. She doesn't know anything about where he even was adopted from. Yet she's saying all this. Hi, Hunt. So yeah, we're going to go over this in depth because it's got a lot more info than just this video. They're painting the boy as a complete psycho that they could not control. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So my question is, if this kid was adopted and they couldn't handle him, why didn't they say something? And I think it's because of the money, money, money. Exactly, Jerry. Me too. Nikki says, I want to see her credentials. Well, I'm going to wrap things up and get the event ready for 4 o'clock. I'm going to get my stuff done. I got to go shopping and get some things done around here as well. So I don't know where they get their money. I don't know what they do for a living. It's all very weird, but we're going to go over what we do know at 4 p.m. Eastern today. And I've got to take these dogs out. So I want to welcome all of you guys, I want to thank all of you guys for coming in today. Let me come back and say goodbye to you. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you at 4 o'clock Eastern. Someone get rid of Dwayne A. Clark, please. Thank you. Obviously, these people did not take this boy in because they were worried about his mental health and wanting to help him become a functioning adult. Very, very bad people. So I will see you guys later.
Roberta,
I love you all.
You know, the proof is in the pudding, if you will.
And I'll see you in about 6 hours. Bye, guys.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Roberta.
Are you kidding me?
You wanna be,
Come on, girl.
You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling different.
Did you hear me? We're not gonna have a good sense of humor if you make us do all this work to track you down.
Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back.
Thank you so much.